The new phone book's here. The new phone book's here. Oh. Greetings, comrades. Okay, it's not really about the phone book, and most of you are probably too young to get that joke anyway. But there is something that came this month that I'm really excited about. I ordered some books. I did a pre-order on some books by the author Angela Thirkell, who is a British author who wrote, I think she began publishing books back in the early 1930s. And they take place in this mythical county called Barsetshire, which is the same place that Anthony Trollope's books took place, and I think some of her characters even are listed as descendants of some of the characters in his books. Now, I haven't read his books because I just don't read 19th century literature, but I have discovered her recently, and I adore the two books that I've read so far. So, when I saw that Virago was publishing some of these books, I was really excited because they do such beautiful editions, and they're published in the Virago Modern Classics, and you can look them up online. So they came, and I have started, and I'm currently reading the first one, which is actually book 2. I read books 1 and 3. 3 is about the same people as 1, so it wasn't really out of order. I really like reading books in order. So anyway, the first one is, you can see this lovely cover, called Wild Strawberries, and these just all take place in this county, family history and stuff, but they're delightful novels. They're humorous. I don't know, they're wonderful. She was really popular. She wrote like 20 of these novels, I think, or something like that. They're great. And the next one is called Pomfret Towers, and that is this one. I don't know who or what group of people this is about. God, look at that cover. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love it. But, I'm going to try and read every one of them, get my hands on them. And hopefully, Virago will keep publishing these because, as you can see, the covers are absolutely gorgeous. And these two I actually got from Amazon.com, and today I just went on earlier and ordered all the rest of them that they have published from Virago Modern Classics, including the one that I already had a copy of because it was a horrible copy. It was full of typos. I don't understand how a publisher can put a book out and be full of typos like that. I mean, don't you care enough to proofread it? And if you know they're there and you just let it go out anyway, that's horrible. So, I don't know. Hopefully they will, and by the time I read these, they'll have more of them out. Anyway, moving on. I was very excited for those to come. The next book is called the Rabbitback Literature Society. This author is Finnish. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. This is also included in January part 3 of my Raps and Recs, which is wrap-ups and recommendations. I included that in that so you can learn more about it. It's kind of an urban fantasy about a literature society. It's a society of writers that were trained by a really famous local author from the time they were children. But odd things are happening. Stories are changing inside books, and it's there's a boy that died, and the person who's the main character is afraid that they murdered him, and there's this weird thing called the game that they play. Anyway, check it out. It's kind of an urban fantasy. There's more about it on the Raps and Recs for January part 3. This one I got from Book Depository. I think it wasn't out here yet. The next one is a book I got called The Shock of the Fall. I've started reading this one and I've set it down to move on to other things. I do want to go back and finish it, but it ends up being completely different than what I thought. I wish I had remembered to mark the sentence in here, but I saw someone talking about it, or read someone talking about it, or a blurb or something, and they used this sentence that it's about a boy. He's 19 now, and he's writing this story about what happened to him when he was 9. His older brother died. And the sentence was something along the lines of something when my older brother died and he was never the same after that. So I thought, okay, this is going to be kind of a maybe fantasy, paranormal kind of thing, but it isn't. As far as I can tell from as far as I've gotten into it, it isn't like that at all. It's actually about this boy This happens when he is 9, and it's kind of his really, to use the tired old phrase, his slow descent into madness. And he's writing this when he's 19 at this point. So it reads fairly quickly, and it's an interesting book, and I do want to get back to it. But I guess I kind of have to get over my disappointment that it seems to not be the either urban fantasy or kind of fantasy, ghost story, whatever that I thought it was going to be. But it's very well written, and it won the Costa Book of the Year Award for 2013. Okay, the next one is Neal Stephenson. Now, The Diamond Age. I read about this on someone's Goodreads page. It's about an instruction manual on how to do things for a young girl, and there's only one copy, but of course there ends up being more copies, and I'm not really explaining this. I don't really remember the exact details of it, but I remember it sounded very good, and I've never read a Neal Stephenson book. So one of the things I want to do this year is to include a bunch of authors that I've never read before. That's going to be about as diverse as my reading gets. And so anyway, I picked this one up, got good reviews, and it sounded really interesting. It's kind of a book about a book, so those are always fun. Another one that I got, I think this is back to more steampunk stuff, so all of these are going to be new authors that I've never read. George Mann, M-A-N-N, The Affinity Bridge. I don't remember what it's about, but I think that's like also a steampunk kind of novel. And ditto for this one, it's called The Friday Society by Adrienne Kress. A-D-R-I-E-N-N-E, Kress, K-R-E-S-S. Great cover. I wish you could see this. I got this book used, okay? I couldn't find it new. I don't think it's still... maybe they're bringing out paperback, but it's no longer available as a new hardback anymore. So it's a little bit, worn around the edges. You can see it's kind of like the color has kind of worn off a little bit, but it really suits the cover, oddly enough. So I kind of like it. This is about kind of they're guys who are really like famous and good at what they do, and these are the kind of the women behind the guys. Oh, and they kind of take off and start kicking ass on their own. Apparently, something like that. And this is, the next one is by Mark Hodder, H-O-D-D-E-R, called The Strange Affair of Spring Hill Jack. And this is kind of like the first in a series of, I think, like steampunk detective agencies. Steampunk seems to be very well suited to detective stories. There seem to be a lot of those out there. So I also got this used. Some books I will get them used. I will buy the rest of them new if I like it. But if it's a series and I don't know if I'm going to like it, one of the times I just buy. I'm sorry to admit, but I'll buy the first book in a used copy, and that's what this one did. It says on the back, it says London, 1861. When one man changes history, history changes everyone. So we'll see. It's about, actually, I think one of the characters is Sir Richard Burton, who did the translation of the writing of, we didn't create, but anyway, 1001 Nights. I think that's what he did. I don't know. Might be wrong on that, okay? This next one is by Philip Reeve. It's called The Web of Air. This is book 2, Fever Crumb. It's a steampunk novel. I got Fever Crumb, I think, last month or so. I haven't started it yet, but I came across this in the used bookstore, and it's in really good condition. Although the first one I got is in paperback, but wow, these gorgeous covers. But it sounds really good, and so I went ahead, and it wasn't a whole lot of money. I went ahead and picked up the hardback edition. Okay, you know what? I'm going to stop right here because all the rest of the books I'm doing part 2, and they're mostly middle grade, adventure stories. I love middle grade adventure stories. I have a weakness for them. So I'm going to stop for now, and that is part 1 of my January book haul. So I will be back with the part 2 and those in just a moment. And happy trails and happy reading. Bye.